Prepare to be captivated by the business story of the week, hosted by me, Shaheen Shan. Join us on a journey through the twists and turns of entrepreneurial triumphs and setbacks. Immerse yourself in the narrative and witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. This is Business Story of the Week. Okay, welcome to Business Story of the Week. Today we've got Ross, who is with a company called Connected Investors. Ross is a serial entrepreneur, has been doing some amazing work, not just in real estate, but in a lot of different areas that I think people will be interested in. Ross, welcome to Business Story of the Week.
Hey, I'm really excited to be here. Got a lot of fun things to share.
Yeah, great to have you on. So I always start the show by asking people to tell us a little bit about their business and entrepreneurial journey. So if you had a journey that was from like zero to where you are now, how would you describe that?
Yeah. If I'm going to give you the cocktail napkin version here, at a very young age, I was a semi-professional BMX rider. I used to compete all around the country. I had a Volkswagen van that I would load up. I had a BMX clothing company. So I'd set my van up as booths outside of BMX competitions. I'd compete in them. I'd sponsor kids. And then someone by the name of Dave Mira moved to my town. He's like the Tony Hawk or the Michael Jordan of BMX. And he was kind of my first mentor. I helped him build his skate park that he had here. I was just an extra set of hands and became good friends with him and got really good in BMX at a very young age. And then I realized that the outcome that everyone told me would happen actually happened. I hurt myself pretty bad and I was out kind of at a pivotal age in BMX, kind of that 18, 19-year-old age. I was out for a year and a half and it was really tough. I had to find something new to do. I'm going to fast forward all the way to the end because if you hear any beeping in the background, I am literally in the process of building a retreat in the mountains of Asheville, North Carolina. 50 acres. It's amazing. We're building into the side of the mountain. Anyway, that's a whole nother story, but I started as a broke BMX rider, broke my leg, didn't know what to do, realized that real estate was the best option for people with limited options, right? I read Think and Grow Rich. That book had me read some other books. I read one stat that 80% of millionaires did it through real estate. And I had a lot of drive, but I didn't have necessarily the book smarts or the credentials to go do something. So I just decided to hustle in real estate. And I did really well. My real estate journey led me to realize the more people I was connected with, the more success I had. Back in the 2005 era, there was no Facebook. Social media wasn't what it was. Facebook was just for people that were a lot smarter than me. It was just in a handful of schools, and MySpace was okay, but it was a little more about partying. So I created a social network just for real estate investors called connectedinvestors.com. It's free to sign up. Instead of looking at cat photos and things that make you laugh, you're going to look at real estate opportunities and things that can make you money. So it's definitely, if you're stuck on social media and you have to be on social, just be on this social network because this one makes you rich, right? So it's a network of local individuals. So I built Connected Investors up, and then we built out privatelenders.com. If you go to privatelenders.com/go is important. You can instantly connect with non-bank verified private lenders to fund your deals. People in real estate are like, where do I get the deals? That's our Connected Investors platform. Then where do I get the money? That's that privatelenders.com/go. You press a few buttons, you get matched up with a non-bank lender. So just some rich person that wants to put their money in real estate, right? Built that up, and we created a data company to help people find real estate whenever there wasn't inventory, which is still today. So we built it inside Connected Investors. So you can go on a map, feels like Airbnb, and you can find off market, meaning it's not on the MLS or Zillow, discounted properties. So these aren't for sale. There's training to learn how to get these, but this software says, hey, go right here, go to this address. There's a good chance you can pick that up at a huge discount. So built that up, sold it to First American Financial. They're a Fortune 100 company, $8 billion company. They bought our software. I got a generational check So I kind of reached a stage to where everyone said, all right, Ross, now what? What do you want to do? And I decided to take my my skills, my connections, my influence, and significant capital. I was able to put a lot aside for charity and build kind of a nonprofit in the affordable, attainable workforce housing spot. So helping those that were left behind, that are left behind, reach the American dream, which is home ownership of some sort. So it's kind of the full circle of entrepreneurialism, right? I made money because I found a problem and I profited from it. Now I'm coming back and trying to provide solutions that are in the nonprofit world. So that's everything in a nutshell. There's a million stories,
Wow.
between all that, but
Wow.
there it is.
Okay. Ross, that's amazing. So I've got questions for you. Do me a favor, adjust your camera up just a little bit so I could see your full head because your head's getting, there we go. Much better. Okay. So this is fascinating to me because you've lived the dream. You were a broke BMXer. So help me bridge that divide. And I want to get into what you're doing now and how people can connect with you. And we'll do that at the end. So I know everybody who's watching this is super psyched to ask questions, but if you guys are watching this on the live, hold on to that. We will actually be rebroadcasting this live. So my question to you is this: broke BMXer, and then stuff happens, right? Presumably in your life, things changed. You said you read Think and Grow Rich. You started shifting your mindset. You started growing your network, which I know happens with everybody who is successful. And then you get these companies that you start. And presumably you fail too. I'm hearing about your successes, but I'm sure we hear about the successes, but there's failures. So getting through all of that, and I really would like to have you back on to do a more in-depth interview with you at a later time, but you get past all of that. And now you're sitting. Can you tell us how much the exit was? Was it 8-figure, 9-figure, something like that? Your big one?
Yeah, there's some non-disclosures there. I did not get to 100 million, but I wasn't far off.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I mean, nobody needs to know, how much you got in your bank account, but just like, that rough idea is great. So you had, you had a near 9-figure exit, an 8-figure exit, and the money hits your bank, right? So presumably before that, it was not that. And then now we're sitting at the morning where the wire hits your account and you have that money. What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, that's a really fun moment, obviously. But also if you follow Think and Grow Rich, you've had that moment in your head a lot of times, right? But it never really feels like when you refresh the bank account and you see all those zeros. Really, from that point on, when I realized I never had to worry about money again, there was kind of like a whole just shift in my head on who am I now? What's important to me? What are my priorities? Everyone in my world kept saying, now what? Now what? Now what? Now what? Well, now what is also like asking, who are you? So it's anyway, it's been a fun journey. I feel a huge sense of responsibility to give back in as many ways as possible, as quickly as possible. I didn't want to rest too long. So high level, every relationship you have gets recalibrated because your frame shifts slightly. And it's kind of like the black lights get turned on. Like everything is the same, but everything's different because you have more opportunities than you had before. And I will tell you that there is a huge unfair advantage. I've been broke and I've been here. It gets a lot easier. When you have 100 million, it's very easy to make 10 million, right? When you have 10 million, it's really easy to make $1 million. When you have $1 million, it's really easy to make 100,000. When you have 100,000, you can make 10 grand. So it just gets very passive to make a lot of money. But that was great. But my core self didn't really change at all. So the shift is big, but also not as big as you would think. I don't know if I answered that question well.
Yeah. No, I love that.
It's been quite a mental journey because I've been close to losing it all so many times.
Right. We're always just 2 steps away, right? You're 2 steps away from huge success and 2 steps away from monumental failure. It's the life of an entrepreneur. And that's why they say risk is commensurate with how much you make, right? The dude that's pulling a paycheck has no risk. He's making little money, but guys like you and me who have businesses, we take all the risk. We walk in the morning not knowing if there's going to be a check and not knowing if we're in fact going to be in the negative and in debt. But
yes. And I just want to say this to anyone who has a job. I think maybe 10 or 15 years ago it was different, but today I believe it's riskier to have a job than it is to do your own thing, because people are getting replaced. Companies are having to make decisions they don't want to make. There's artificial intelligence. There's no telling what can happen. So you have to have some sort of a side hustle going. I believe you're negligent if you don't have a plan B already in place for when you get fired, because people who think they're replaceable are pretty surprised when they realize they're not. So that's why your viewers are smart for being here. They're exploring opportunities, and it takes time to get things up. You know, take a year or two to start generating real money in something passively. So the time is definitely right this second, whether it's real estate or whatever you're doing. You got to get something going, because someone can make a decision that just shakes your whole world.
I love that. I love that. It almost sounds like an Alan Watts quote. Like the greatest risk in life is not taking risks.
Yes.
That's freaking brilliant. That's really good, Ross. So, all right. So my friend Jay Samit, who wrote Disrupt You, he's written another book called Future Proof You, where he talks about solving problems. And this will be my last question. Then I want to get into what you're doing now and how people can get a hold of you. So Jay talks about, if you want to make $1 billion, solve $1 billion problem. If you want to make $100 million, solve $100 million problem. What was the problem that you solved, and how did you get to wanting to solve that problem? That what's the value that you brought that puts you where you are in comparison to other entrepreneurs?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And the question, what problem are you trying to solve, is we use that internally in a lot of our business meetings. Someone comes to me and they're chatting, they're trying to get an idea. I'm like, what problem are you solving? What problem are you solving? So that's a fantastic question to ask during meetings, when you're brainstorming. The problem that we solved at Connected Investors was how people could find discounted properties. I mean, that was our core brand promise. And then we had how do you find funding to buy those properties? So those are $100 million, those are $1 billion problems to solve. I'm celebrating my exit, but it definitely could have been even bigger in a few years. But anyway, that was the problem we were solving.
Right. That's always the thing, right? I look at people I look at Zuckerberg and, Musk and some of these guys where you're like, man, they got offered, or the Instagram guy got offered, what was it, like $1 billion at first, and he turned it down. You're like, fuck, man, $1 billion exit, and you're going to turn it down. That takes balls, right? You just have to be one of those dudes that are like, I just don't give a fuck. Like, I know what this is worth. And
at a certain point, you have so much. Once you cross like a $50 million range, the extra money really doesn't do much for you. It's like having 500 horsepower in your car or having 580 horsepower. Like, you probably can't spend money he already has. So $1 billion really means nothing. But I looked at it like a game of poker. Like every now and then you have the opportunity to cash in on your chips. You might not get the opportunities. Usually come every like 5 years, if 4 to 5 years. So anyway, I looked at where I was at in my life. I was able to sell right on my 40th birthday, which was great. A few days after, but it was just a perfect time for me.
I love that. All right, let's talk about you now.
Yes.
So tell us about what you're doing now, and also how people can engage with you, how people can get in touch with what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So me now is I'm advising for Connected Investors. And it's really fun because I get to play with unlimited web budgets, and the company that bought us has every bit of data. So we're doing some of the biggest things I've ever seen in the space with artificial intelligence and real estate data. We're doing some things that have never been done before. So that's kind of my playground, which is a lot of fun. I have my real estate investments. I buy hundreds and hundreds of properties a year. And I also lend money from time to time to other real estate investors. Then I have my nonprofit. It's called savinghomes.org. And the nonprofit is targeted to help single parents that are losing their house to foreclosure, save their house and save their child's home. So the best thing you can really do is if you just send me an email, I'll actually have an autoresponder set up that just kind of explains everything I do. And then we can start communicating. If you want to invest alongside me, we do that now with real estate. So maybe you don't have the ability to be a ground hustler like it takes with real estate, but you want to throw your money into deals that I'm throwing my money into, I'll keep you in the loop. So
what's the best email, Ross?
Yeah, it's my name, Ross, ROSS at successcap.com. Successcap.com. Ross at successcap.com. Shoot me an email and you'll get a really cool autoresponder with links to everything I talked about, plus some free real estate investing courses and education stuff I used to sell for a bunch. Now that I'm kind of out of the industry, I just give it away for free. So if you're interested in real estate at all, at least grab that free course. And we'd love to have you be part of the Saving Homes cause one way or another, whether it's a podcast interview or you want to donate a few dollars or some of your time. Every penny helps in a big way. So yeah, I'm excited to have been here.
That's amazing. Ross at successcap.com.
That's correct.
Okay. Not to be confused with Axe Capital from Billions, which is
that's right. Yeah.
Which was my favorite show for the first season. And then the second season, third season started going down.
Yeah, I didn't make it to the second or third.
Didn't make it second or third. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case, right? But look, Ross, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know how busy you are with the work that you're doing. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and would love to get you on. I'll make sure that our team books you for another show if you're willing to be on, and we can dig deeper into your story, because I think you really dropped some nuggets there. So we definitely want to continue this line of conversation.
You bet. I really appreciate being here.
All right, man. Thanks for having you on.
Bye.
All right. So here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.